It's 8 p.m., and here are our top stories. Another day of record-breaking heat along the Front Range. Our Denver 7 weather team is tracking these abnormally high temps and the big changes coming later this week.
It's a lot more difficult to change someone's behavior than it is to try to design new technologies.
Plus, record heat means more Coloradans are using AC and putting more strain on the power grid. Why this might not be sustainable and what experts say we need to change.
The technology is going to have to keep up.
And 2 boys shot in downtown Denver right near a high school. The latest on the police investigation as we hear from a witness who saw it all happen. We start off with a live look outside on another warm September evening. Today, Denver broke another heat record, and it looks like that could happen again tomorrow.
Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson. Mike, we have one more day of this heat before a big change, right?
That is exactly correct. Let me show you where we are on the tally of days of 90 or better. Now in 3rd place all time, the Denver area going back to the 1880s, 63 days so far this summer. We're a little bit behind 2020 and 2012, but we'll add another one for sure tomorrow. As far as the conditions today, we had 99 in Denver, 101 at Greeley, 102 at Sterling and Ray, and it's still warm out there. It's still 79 degrees in Denver, but 86 up at Fort Collins. Temperatures will cool tonight, but the heat will be right back again tomorrow. There are a couple of scattered light showers diminishing over the central and southwest mountains. Air quality alerts for wildfire smoke and low-level ozone continue in the gray shaded areas. This is all the area under a heat advisory once again for tomorrow. And just to add it up with more colors, a fire weather warning in effect for high fire danger on the eastern plains for Thursday. But there is some good news on the horizon. One more really hot day. I think we easily beat the record tomorrow, probably by just after lunch, 94 in 1959. But a cold front arrives Friday. Showers and much cooler weather coming in to start out the weekend. Full 7-day in about 15 minutes.
Catch you then, Mike. Thank you. And these record high temperatures aren't just stressing us, they're stressing out our power grids too.
Denver 7's Rob Harris joins us live. And Rob, you spoke to an engineer with some expertise on this subject about the future of Colorado's energy use as extreme temperatures become more common.
Yeah, Amy, so engineers and environmental scientists view it as sort of a vicious cycle. Our energy consumption is a driver of climate change. Climate change drives more severe weather, and severe weather can in turn cause us to consume more energy. So I spoke to an engineer with CU Boulder about this today, how our energy grid is currently under threat and how if we don't adapt, it could get even worse.
The technology is going to have to keep up with.
Aisling Piggott is a PhD student at CU Boulder School of Engineering.
So I guess I'll start by just kind of give me your top line reaction to what you're hearing and reading about what's happening in California amid this heat wave.
The primary reason that we have HVAC installations is often because they keep us safer, so we're not roasting in our buildings at 120 degrees. So like my first thought is like, oh my gosh, I hope everyone is okay.
Should we in Colorado be concerned that we could see similar issues with our grid in the coming years as we see these increasing temperatures as well?
Well, we've already seen, as you know, like last week, Xcel has blocked out a lot of consumers from changing their HVAC, from changing their AC setback temperatures. So I think, yes, it is a realistic concern going forward.
Piggott was part of recent research on air conditioning use, setting out to settle a hot debate that's popped up in households for decades. Whether we should be turning off the AC when we leave our homes for work or school.
There's a lot of people who think that the startup cost of turning your AC on after it's been off all day, your house is nice and warm, is a lot higher than if you had just run it all day. There's parts of that are true and parts of that aren't true. If you're going to be gone for the whole day, definitely turn off your AC.
Is there a future where we can keep our current use of air conditioning going and keep up with rising temperatures, or will we have to change our lifestyle and behavior?
I think that the question from the engineering side is always how do we support people's current behavior? Because I think that in my experience, it's a lot more difficult to change someone's behavior, even around this ask of changing their thermostat setback than it is to try to design new technologies.
So Piggott and her fellow engineers are working on those new technologies right now. But in the meantime, it is important for us to ease our demand on our energy grid. We can do that both by reducing our consumption when possible, and when possible, investing in those renewable and energy efficient options. Jessica?
Old habits are hard to break. Thank you so much, Rob. Well, some school districts across the metro closed early or canceled the day completely because of the heat. The Thompson School District and Poudre Schools will be closing 2 hours early again tomorrow. And Denver Public Schools closed some schools because they don't have air conditioning. Without AC in these schools, classrooms can get up to 90 degrees. Only 6 schools were upgraded last year in Denver, and 9 were supposed to get AC units over the summer, but those jobs were only partially completed because of supply chain issues. We spoke to parents who say they're frustrated with the district.
It's really just not okay, because in Denver, we continue to support our schools. We continue to vote up bond measure after bond measure after bond measure, and yet the same problems continue to go unsolved, and with only excuses for answers from the district. And really, who's paying the price are our children.
We asked Denver Public Schools if early releases will extend the school year, and the district says there are extra days built into the calendar for heat and snow days. So as long as the district doesn't exceed those, the school year will end on time.
We know parents want AC in their kids' schools now, but let's give you some context on why it's not an overnight fix. We spoke with the owner of Great Guys Heating, Cooling, and Electrical in Littleton. He says a big part of the delay is cost.
Traditionally, what you see for, I'm estimating here, but for an average grade school, you're probably going to see AC equipment somewhere in the $300,000 to $400,000 range, just at a beginning level, to replace some of that antiquated equipment.
On top of that, supply chain issues are impacting the entire commercial side of things. He says a lot of restaurants he works with are seeing delays of 7 to 8 months for equipment to come in.
There are places to go where you can keep cool. Denver is opening several cooling centers tomorrow. Rec centers and most libraries will be open during regular business hours for anyone to take a break from the heat.
Now you can always get the latest weather forecast for your neighborhood by visiting denver7.com. Full forecasts are also streaming 24/7 on the free app and Denver 7 Plus app.
Now the latest on that double shooting in Denver where 2 boys were injured. This happened earlier this afternoon off East Colfax near the Carla Madison Recreation Center and East High School.
Denver 7 CB Cotton joins us live from the scene. Now CB, you spoke with a woman who helped one of those victims.
Jessica, Amy, I did. More on that in a moment. But right now, though, I want to set the scene for our viewers. As you said, Denver police say 2 teen boys were injured in the shooting that happened just after 4 this afternoon. We don't know their condition at this hour, but I can tell you there is a lot of police activity in this area. Take a look behind me. The crime scene tape is still up, and there are several officers moving around the perimeter, possibly doing more investigative work. Witnesses tell me the shooting happened here in front of the Carla Madison Recreation Center. That gunfire prompting Denver East High School to go on lockdown. And this afternoon, we saw students pouring out of the school once the lockdown was lifted. You can imagine how scary this was for parents because this happened so close to the school. The rec center is actually about a 5-minute walk away. Witnesses tell me just before 4 p.m. they saw a large crowd of students fighting in front of the rec center, and shortly after, they say about 5 or 6 gunshots rang out. I spoke to one woman. She works in a barber shop across the street. She tells me she ran out to help one of the victims. Take a listen.
We saw a boy fall to his knees, and the whole staff, including our clients and everything, ran out there to assist the juvenile. I actually was the one holding, I took his shirt off and hold pressure on his face until the ambulance got there. But there was a client of ours who was actually a doctor that was there with me, so we were attending to him.
And what are the chances, as she says, to have a medical professional helping her there on scene with one of the victims during those tense moments? That witness you just heard from, she tells me she was so grateful to have that medical professional there with her. And Denver police sharing on social media just moments ago that as of right now, no one has been arrested, but at this point, officers have also not indicated that there is any ongoing threat to the public. We are going to stay out here on scene, and as we learn more, we'll be sure to update our viewers on air and online. Reporting live for Denver 7 News on Local 3, I'm CB Cotton.
Startling new details about documents found at Mar-a-Lago, but a judge's decision is putting the DOJ's investigation on hold.
The harm is that it's delaying a criminal investigation based upon evidence.
Plus, new legal trouble for Steve Bannon related to an old case.
There's no overlap there in terms of his liability.
When he's expected to turn himself in to authorities.
It's the camaraderie and the bonding that happens on the ride, and that is the backbone of Shield 616.
Plus, riding across Colorado for a good cause. See the unique way a group of cyclists are raising money to help law enforcement.